Hey guys, just want to let you know about the new website, Aspect of the Hunter. If you want to find the latest pet, transmog, or anything else WoW related, head on over to Aspect of the Hunter. It's the home for all us hunters. Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy Ravenclaw here, back with another survival PvP guide. This one is based around the changes in 7.15. I'm not going to do like a full comprehensive guide. This is just basically focusing on the new talent structure and rotation, both burst and consistent damage. So if you're a new player, jump over to my other guides because most of it is still relevant based upon like what is what. This one is more focused on those changes, so these will actually make more sense to you. Hopefully I'll have a link to that in the top corner or wherever, somewhere, down the description most likely. But yeah, other than that, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is talents real quick. So, this is pretty much my basic setup with the talents, both honor and normal, and we'll quickly run through why I've taken these and what I switch out for. Now, I go throwing axes because throwing axes are great for a few reasons. Keeping people in combat across the map, especially if you're rooted and you need to keep them in combat. Secondly, it acts like almost like a kill shot. If you've got someone like almost about to die, you throw 2 stacks of those at the target and it will just wreck them. They do hit very hard. Now, in the next one, I go Murder of Crows. Now, you're saying, why not Snake Hunter? Why not get those 3 charges? There's 2 reasons. One, it's been nerfed to a 2-minute cooldown, so it doesn't really line up with, let me just show you. It doesn't line up now with Aspect of the Eagle. And secondly, I will show you why I don't take it when we go to do the rotations. Murder of Crows is great for an extra dot because we've got so many dots we can put on the targets now, especially with Lacerate becoming an instant cast, and with Serpent Sting, you can put dots on everyone. It's awesome. Also, almost like a Arms Warriors rend when you used to rend up all the targets and blah, blah, blah. Next one. This one's situational. I take Post Haste because when I throw my harpoon, it's just great to have that snare breaker as well as that extra speed boost enhance. Anyway, disengage. Now you're seeing that as it was originally, but watch what happens when I click this. Be sure I didn't want to confuse anyone once they go, oh, well, that didn't do nothing. I just leapt back and nothing happened. So yeah, be careful of that. Okay, so the 60 tier. I usually take Caltrops if I'm against like melee comps, because especially when they're clustering on you, it's great to have that AoE slow plus the bleed. But here's the thing, now it has been nerfed recently took a 10% damage nerf, which sucked because it was doing a lot of damage, but it's still pretty good to get that extra dots going, especially when you're bursting. Guerrilla Tactics, I take this most of the time because it does a lot of damage. A lot of damage with your explosive trap, but it increases the amount of time they get stuck in your freezing trap, being able to get smacked down without it breaking, and I'll show you that in a sec. Now, so that's entirely up to you. It's situational, so have a try it and see what you think. The next one, Ranger's Net, I normally take if I'm going up against range classes that I need to sort of close gaps with, or if I need to peel from my healer and I'm across the map, I can throw a net, lock them down, and gives my healer a bit of chance to go away. So it really is dependent on the comp you're up against. Mostly like if there's, say, a warrior that's training your healer, it's just great to get that cross-map lockdown without, say, if you're training the healer, so you don't have to sort of switch targets. Now, Camouflage I use if I want to get a sort of the opener. There's 2 reasons why this is good. If you want to get the opener on the enemy target or the enemy team, or say if it comes down to a 1v1 situation, or you need to get your healer some extra help, you break combat, get behind some cover, drop into Camouflage, and it will heal you up like a boss. Now, practice, you guys can work with these ones, see what you think. Next one. This one here is situational for you. Now, when I say situational, it's just purely up to you. I now am taking Serpent Sting because I can keep that on the targets all the time, whereas Dragon's Fire Grenade is good, but there's a 30-second cooldown. So I've swapped that out now to Serpent Sting, because Serpent Sting, if you look, yeah, it does a bit more damage with the Dragon's Fire grade, plus the movement speed is reduced. But trust me, I can keep this on the target all the time. Any targets all the time. And I try and spread my dots around so it keeps more of a spread pressure going. So yeah, I stick with the Serpent Sting. And the last one is Expert Trapper, to increase the ability of all my traps. Now, let's talk about traps. Actually, let's go to the honor talents real quick, and then we'll talk about traps. The first one, I run with Gladiator's Medallion most of the time because I like to have control over my CC breaker, but I do switch it out for Adaptation. Adaptation is not too bad. It shortens the cooldown of your CC breaker, or your loss of control trinket, or whatever you want to call it. But you don't have that solid control, so it really comes down to what playstyle you like to use. So yeah, those are really the two I take. Now, being an orc, I have a reduced CC time anyway. I think it's only to stuns, so this would be okay. But yeah, anyway, the next one. Reinforced armor is what I take just to give myself a bit more survivability in arenas. It helps my healer out as well. Takes my health up quite a way too. I'm on, like, when I'm in an arena, it's like, what, 3,500 or 100 million or billion, jillion, whatever the crap it is now. Anyway, the next one, this one here, I'll quickly explain to some people that aren't fully aware of it. Let's say survival tactics. Let's say you're up against an Aflock. This one here, as soon as you use Feign Death, it'll remove all those damage, removes all the harmful magic effects, which is great to save your healer from having to dispel you and go into a CC, like a Silence or a Horror or whatever. But this one will also work too, to reduce the damage you take from those dots. Cat-like reflexes I use against, say, DK's warriors and stuff, so every time a critical melee strike hits you, you get dodged for 4 seconds. So it's just a little handy way to sort of damage reduce the enemy. Righto, and moving on. Okay, these stings are okay. Like, for example, I take Spider Sting against, say, a priest that's coming in for a fear or something like that. You drop that on, if it's like a healer, does the fear and then goes straight into a silence. Then you can CC out of that, and it's kind of a trade-off, 1-for-1, CC for CC. This one I use against, say, warriors when they pop wreck and all that. It's great to reduce their critical strike chance, so you don't get destroyed as fast. Viper Sting is mostly I use against resto druids, because it's great when you're about to burst. You drop that on the resto, and especially when they use overgrowth and all that stuff, it's great to reduce that incoming healing for the chance to get the kill. Okay, Master's Call is awesome, especially if you've got a healer that's getting trained and you want to give them a bit of a mix with your Roar of Sacrifice. Give that to the healer and watch them just run out of harm's way. Or even yourself. Mending Bandages is pretty cool. I use it for 2s as well. Like, if my healer's like bled up and all that stuff, you can actually put it on your teammates to not only heal them, but give them a clear of all bleeds, poisons, and diseases, and all that other crappy crap stuff. Okay, so Tracker's Net, and if we look here, Ranger's Net. So Ranger's Net changes your wing clip into a ranged net, like we spoke about. But I take Tracker's Net because I macroed it now, so every time I hit shift, it changes my wing clip into Tracker's Net. It's not showing up now because I'm not in PvP, but it's great for if I'm getting like pummeled by a warrior. I can drop him in that net if I need to get out of the way, if I either want to kite or if I just want to sit back and attack him. All his damage that he's giving me is reduced by 80%. Well, chance to hit is reduced by 80%, so take it as you will. Okay, so quickly let's get on to traps and how I use them, and then we'll get onto the rotations, and then we'll clean it up. Alright, so the traps. So if you drop a trap now, you'll notice a nice little animation around it. Okay, and that works off Waylay. So these become fully armed when you see the really bright circle around them. Alright, so what that means is if anyone runs into your ice trap, and if you've taken Guerrilla Tactics means that they'll be stuck in this for 6 seconds, and you can physically beat the crap out of them and it won't break. It's awesome for trying to secure a kill. if you've like locked out the target and you're using the trap to sort of lock out your enemy. So a lot of people have been saying, you know, survival hunters need a stun, and yeah, I do agree. But if you use this wisely, you've basically got a 6-second stun on your hands right here. Now, this one here, when it's armed, it does extra damage. Now, let's just quickly look at Waylay and what it says. Explosive staggers the target, causing them to miss their next target. So misses their next, so they get sort of dazed. But if you take Guerrilla Tactics, it does 50% extra damage, and Waylay effects are further strengthened. So I'm just trying to sort of tie it all in and why I take these things. Now, I have 2 ways to use these. I say if you're going up against like a stealthy comp, so like Rogue or Feral or something like that, I like to get my healer to stand in the traps once they're locked. Right, so the healer will stand here. So as soon as anyone runs into this, not only will they get frozen fully, but this will go off, hitting them like a truck in the face, and then you can pummel into them. That'll either force heaps of cooldowns, or you may even get the kill just off your one burst. So the next way I use it is, say if I'm getting, say, trained by a warrior, and I want to try and get him off me, I won't drop it at my feet, but what I will do is I'll drop it out in front of me, let it charge up, let them run through it, and then you've got 6 seconds to pummel them into the ground. So just little tips and tricks I like to do of, you know, how I like to sort of mix my goodness up, I guess. All right, anyway, let's talk about the burst rotation and the more sort of consistent damage while your burst is down. All right. When I go for a target, I like to... So what I might do is I might just do the... You know what? Stuff it. Let's just talk about it as I do it. That's probably the best way to do it. And I may slow it down. I don't know. Macros and everything like that too, I will probably put... Yeah, I will put in the description, so look out for that. All right, so what you want to do is if you've got your artifact weapon to the top dragon or whatever it is, so up here, what this does, it puts a damage over time on the target, right? And that refreshes every time you use an auto attack. So what I like to do is I harpoon in, drop my trap, put my dots up, and then I put my one-shot macro and just start pummeling into them with mongoose bites. So you can see how many mongoose bites I've gotten already. Then use your artifact weapon and just keep going on with the mongoose bites. So then you can fill it up with some throwing axes and then refresh your dots. Okay, so from there, now we've got no burst macro left. So what we want to do, when I say burst, just burst rotation, whatever you want to call it, cooldowns. So what I like to do to keep the consistent damage going is I put my dots up on the target as much as I can, then use a throwing axe, flanking strike off cooldown just to keep some pressure going, and wait for your mongoose bites to get 3 stacks. Okay, so once you do that, then you can start pummeling those into sort of like a mini burst in between, and hopefully you get some more stacks. And that way you can be assured that while you're waiting for your cooldowns to come back around, you're keeping that consistent pressure up. So don't just go and... So I've only got 1 stack here. There's no point in just doing 1 hit and waiting for that buff to fall off. So in summary, you want to harpoon in to get that dot on the trail going. Then from there, you want to dot the targets up and pop your one shot. So one shot is simply your... When I say one shot, it's just simply aspect of the eagle. Let's go into the macro and see what I've got in it, just to show you real quick. Okay. So it's basically aspect of the eagle, blood fury, which is my racial, and don't worry about these other things here. They're just for... Oh yeah, so blood fury, aspect of the eagle, and murder of crows. That's pretty much it. And as you can see, once you do that, you pop that first, and then you start pummeling into the target with mongoose bites, because you get an increased chance to get another stack. Now, every time your pet hits, you get Hunter's Companion, which is another stack. But as you saw, I don't need to take Snake Hunter anymore because they just keep flooding in anyway. I'll leave it up to you to see how you do it. If you guys have any other, maybe I don't do it the way you do it, let us know down below. Start a conversation, let other people know. It's the only way that, the community can help each other out. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit to help some people out that have been asking me in the comments, in messages and all that stuff. So I hope this has helped you out and I haven't sort of confused anyone or gone crazy like I normally do. If you're enjoying the Hunter still, and hopefully there's many of you out there that haven't sort of, lost faith in the Hunter, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you head over to the website. Website link is in the description below, and join the Hunter team. And also hit that subscribe button. But like as always, you amazing people, make sure you keep on sniping, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.